Hey everyone, welcome back to Secret Sonics. This is Mix Notes number 2. Today I thought I'd talk about changes and how we work over time. So I just posted by the time this goes live, I will have just posted a YouTube video of me kind of going in under the hood on a mix I did over 10 years ago to kind of see what I would do differently and maybe what I did right, what I did wrong. It was an idea my wife, Aviva, told me to do. So why don't you see what you did? I had this record. I did this record 10 years ago called Kings and Things, which is a culmination of a lot of songs I'd written over the years. And I haven't written that many songs since then, but at the time I had written quite a few. And I, this was a long time ago. It was at the beginning of my audio engineering journey. And it was like a kind of an excuse for me to kind of figure out how to get better at recording, mixing, producing, scratch my itch of making songs. And have something to show people, hey, I know what I'm doing. I can audio engineer and stuff. It was kind of like a business card kind of idea with the record. Anyways, I worked really hard on it, and it's been 10 years. And obviously, if I was doing it today, I would do it a lot different. I think a lot better. But anyways, it was really informative to kind of open it up and see under the hood what happened. What I was doing back then, and yeah. So basically, I guess the biggest thing was the simplicity of it. Like my early productions were so simple. It was just like a drum kit, a bass, acoustic guitar, a few electric guitars, like not even all playing at the same time, a piano, Fender Rhodes for like a solo that doesn't appear anywhere else in the song, and that was it. That was basically it. It was just so simple, and I think it was an effective arrangement, even though it wasn't. Even though it wasn't like a ton of, it wasn't dense or anything, but it was an effective arrangement and it worked. And so that was kind of like a lesson to me of like, hey, like you don't have to do that much for it to be effective. You need to have like the right parts on the right instruments, and you don't have to do a million things. These days, it's very rare I'd make a track so sparse, but I think it did work, and that was cool. And it's like, hey, so make sure you're playing the right part and doing it on the right sounding instrument, not necessarily loading up a million VSTs to kind of make a big sound, the thing that we all kind of do sometimes. So that was really interesting. And the other thing was, on some tracks I did like nothing. Like there was like zero processing when there really could have been some processing. And on some tracks there was so much processing where it really didn't even need so much processing. I think that just kind of speaks to like, as you gain experience, you know what you need to do for every single thing. And it's like, okay, this needs compression. Let's use a little compression. This needs EQ. This needs a little EQ. Let's do a little EQ rather than saying like, I'm gonna throw a filter here. I'm gonna do this, that. I'm gonna like use I'm gonna use this random CLA compressor stacked with a Logic stock compressor and see what happens. Like I really like was just throwing things up and just seeing if it felt good. And these days it's much more intentional. And so like on one hand, the intentionality of like those early productions for me of like very limited, tracks and just like every track doing the right thing was really cool. But the unintentionality of the engineering side of things was holding it back. Whereas today, I might lean the other way around. Like everything is intentional in terms of an engineering perspective, but I might be too loosey goosey with how many tracks I put in a production and stuff like that. Anyways, I think. Yeah, it was just really interesting to see, and I did this whole mix. I was hoping to do this for like half an hour, and it took me like an hour. And then I listened on my speakers. I mean, I was doing it on my headphones so it wouldn't bleed into the microphone because I'm figuring out how to use like ScreenFlow to record my screen and my audio from my mic and everything. And it's just like it's a lot of work to make it. Anyways, I'm learning about this, and I don't want to put too much work into every single video because that's not why I'm here. I'm here to, make music productions and stuff like that. But I do want to make a thing that works and flows. But anyways, I didn't want bleed into the microphone, so I was using headphones, and I just got these Beyerdynamic DT770s, which are amazing, and I do think they work. But it was my first time really mixing with them, and I turned on the mix that I had made on these headphones on my speakers, and all of a sudden it was like super, like way woofier than I expected it to be. It wasn't as punchy as it sounded in my headphones. It was woofier, and so, anyways, I would probably, if I was to actually do a real remix, I'd probably have to work a little bit on speakers and not just over Zoom, not over Zoom, but over ScreenFlow, like in real time. But it was still cool to kind of figure that end of it out, like the whole like making content for YouTube. I'm going to try to make a little bit of content for YouTube, just show people how I mix anyways, because I think that could be good for me and it's fun. And yeah, anyways, I feel like I'm rambling now, but bottom line is early days, a good song, a simple arrangement, that was really powerful for me to watch. And sometimes not doing enough processing, sometimes doing too much processing, but that, you have to do the reps and learn. So it's cool. It's definitely an eye-opening experience. And I want to do more of that, of like looking into the old stuff and seeing what I could do better. Or maybe it's better to just make new stuff and write new songs. But I do think some of those songs hold up. So maybe I'll remix a few of them and re-release them as like some sort of like EP of like 2023 mixes. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Check out the video on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description. And if you dig it, please let me know. If you don't dig it, please let me know. I want to know how to make cool stuff. And I'm just like kind of now slowly stepping out of the door of only making podcasts. Maybe I can make more things. I don't know. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. And you could also let me know what you think about, what you've learned over a decade of making records. What have been some of the big takeaways for you? Anyways, I hope you guys have a great one. Thanks for listening to this episode of Mixed Notes, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Secret Sonics. If you've been digging the show, it would be awesome if you could share this episode or your favorite episode with a friend or two, and or leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcatcher of choice. That's it for now. Have a great week. Take care and dig in. See you soon. Bye-bye.